Good Sunday morning. I'm Jaden Jefferson, and welcome to this week's Community Focus. This morning, I'm joined by LeSean Shaw, Vice President of Bitwise Industries. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Jaden.
So, would you first be able to give me an idea of what Bitwise Industries is? I know this name is starting to get more familiar in the community, but what exactly do you guys do?
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you also for the time, platform, and opportunity to, even dive deeper into this. So Bitwise Industries, first and foremost, is a for-profit tech services company. So we are a for-profit tech services company that actually focuses on building tech economies in underserved communities. So what that looks like as far as tech services is concerned is that we do everything under the sun. We can build mobile applications, web applications. We can do staff augmentation. We can also do things like application integration. But what Bitwise is truly about is being a people-centric tech services company. So we like to put our people first and foremost. And we do that by leveraging our government and philanthropic relationships throughout the community in order to provide paid apprenticeships for our employees. So our paid apprenticeships here in Toledo, we're actually going to be paying at least $17 an hour. But during that apprenticeship, they're going to be working for full time, and they're also going to be receiving unlimited paid time off, free healthcare, and free childcare as well too during that period as well. So it's about creating wraparound services, about creating a tech economy here in Toledo as well too. So that's a little bit about what Bitwise Industries is about. We're also remodeling 1300 Jefferson Avenue. So that's a really big thing for us as well too. And I'm sure we'll probably talk a little bit more about that in depth as we go.
We definitely will. And in case people don't know, you guys are moving from Fresno, California to Toledo. So what was behind that move, and what made you guys want to come into Jefferson Center in particular?
Yeah, great question. So what's behind that is actually our founder and CEO, Irma Ogwin Jr., is a graduate of University of Toledo. So Fresno, California is where our headquarters is currently, and Bitwise Industries has existed for 10 years now. So the idea came about after a TED Talk that Irma Ogwin did here in Toledo, where she was approached by Robin Whitney, one of our partners over at ProMedica, and basically said, why not Toledo? This is something that was hugely successful for, the city of Fresno. How about we try to do something like this here in Toledo? So they got together, put their brains together, and they identified a building, which is 1300 Jefferson Avenue, for which we could actually build our castle for our underdogs.
And this was some new information I found out just before the interview, but you're from Toledo, correct?
Oh, yeah. Born and raised. Been here 40 years now. This will be my 40th year. Yep.
That's just something, though, with all of this happening and seeing just an old building that had a past use and now it's getting a real modern use. So what is the timeline of this project? Because I'm showing people video right now of that renovation site happening there. When can we expect employees to start moving in?
Great question. So we are anticipating to be moving in summer of 23. So only a couple more months left before we're able to move into that building. Right now, Bitwise employees and even people that lease at our current space in a Bitwise building, we're over at 336 North Superior. So we're right across the street from the Valentine Theater, and we have a 10,000 square foot facility where we actually do co-working here, which is only $10 a day or $39 for the whole month. Or you can also lease space out of this building as well, with the anticipation that once we actually do move into 1300 Jefferson, they'll be moving right along with us.
And are these employees that are coming from California, or are these people locally?
These are actually going to be local employees. So very much just like myself, what Bitwise is really big on doing is building a local tech economy. So they did that with local people from Fresno, and then they branched off into different areas of California. But Toledo is actually the first base of operations or building that has been stood up outside of California. So all of our employees are actually local employees. We don't have any transplants like from California or anything like that, but that's very purposeful and intentional because we don't want someone from Fresno to come and say, hey, this is what Bitwise should look like for Toledo. We're very adamant about just making sure that we ensure that we're kind of locking in a cultural understanding and guideline of what each city is like, and we're building a representation of employees based out of that community as well.
How will the community benefit from Bitwise's presence? Because you had mentioned that there are going to be some opportunities for people here in the community to really get involved with this.
Mhm. I think some of the things that I think about more hugely are the economic mobility and development that Bitwise Industries will create. So just to give you a little bit of tidbit, Bitwise has created over 10,000 jobs in the city of Fresno. They have also helped raise the GDP by 1% in the city of Fresno as well over the last 10%. And I see that as being something that we can actually do and replicate, even maybe a little bit better, 2 to 3% here in Toledo. So not only is it going to be job creation, but it's also giving everyone an opportunity to take advantage of that building that I'm referring to over at 1300 Jefferson. So that's more than a $30 million investment, from tax credits and, from our partners and things of that sort. But everyone can utilize that building. This is going to be a community space where people can come in, they can hold conferences, they can have classes, they can do TED Talks, pretty much anything under the sun in that building. So there's going to be many different community impacts that you're going to start noticing, whether that be like partnerships with different community-based organizations, apprenticeships with some of our company partners that are here locally as well too, but also even just moving towards closing that digital divide here in Toledo as well too. So I think there's going to be a multifaceted impact that you're going to notice with Bitwise Industries landing here in Toledo.
And how many employees can you expect that Bitwise is going to be employing from this area?
Great question. So currently we have about, I think, 12 employees here in our Toledo campus. We're looking for employees to also fill out our restaurant, which we're going to have over at 1300 Jefferson as well too. So I'm thinking we're looking about 50 employees for that specifically. We're looking for building security and maintenance, as well, but we're also going to be building like developers and Salesforce administrators and things of that sort as well too. So as we find additional community partners and additional opportunities to create employment, you're going to see a lot of different jobs being offered that are going to be high pay, tech adjacent or tech jobs as well too here in Toledo.
And I know there's so much information that we're trying to include in this interview, but one last thing, let's talk about that partnership between the city of Toledo and Bitwise. So to make something like this happen, as you mentioned, this had to be a partnership and there had to be a lot of benefits that were given mutually to make it happen.
Absolutely. There were a lot of local partners that helped bring Bitwise to Toledo. So you have people like ProMedica, the Greater Toledo Community Foundation, Key Bank, of course, the city of Toledo, major thanks to Mayor Wade for just believing in the idea and the mission and model that is behind Bitwise Industries. As you stated a little bit earlier, it is really a partnership, with bringing a company like this, an idea like this to Toledo, where we all have to be mutually invested in that, so definitely a huge thank you to our partners. And what that looks like for us is just basically casting a really wide net and seeing what we can pull back in. There's a lot of opportunities that are available, through Bitwise Industries and additional opportunities that we can create with our partners as well too. So just casting a really wide net and just, not saying no to anything, just bringing everyone to the table so we can figure things out.
For sure, and there's a lot of movement happening here. LeSean Shaw, Vice President of Bitwise Industries, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time today, Jaden. You have a great day, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's this week's Community Focus. Have a great week.